Hello, and thanks for joining me. My name is Jeanette McLeod, and my goal with this video is just to update you on me and my family and how we've been doing in Prince Edward Island. We are originally from Alberta, Canada, and we have been traveling across Canada for the last 6 weeks and ended up in Prince Edward Island at a friend's house. And I wanted to share with you a few things that we have noticed in Prince Edward Island, and hopefully you can take some value from this if you're planning a trip to Prince Edward Island, and some of the things that we have noticed and what we've learned, and just how great Prince Edward Island has been to us and for us. So I am married to Kevin, and we've been married for 11 years, and we have 2 daughters who are 9 and 7. So we decided earlier this year that we would be moving into our tiny home, and we put everything in storage and have been traveling across Canada, and we have the ambition to spend the winter in the United States. So we're really looking forward to that. So I'm just starting this YouTube channel to share with everybody about our travels in our tiny home, in our fifth wheel, and all the things that we do. So we also homeschool. Of course, this is our 4th year of homeschooling, and we are full-time RVers, so we are traveling in our fifth wheel, and we work from our RV. So let's get into Prince Edward Island and some of the differences that we have noticed. So we've traveled from Alberta and Saskatchewan through Manitoba, through Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and now we're in Prince Edward Island. And there is nothing like the island. So there have been a few things that we have really loved. And the number one thing that we have found, if you're an RVer watching this, if you're anybody watching this, you can probably understand that one of the best things about being in Prince Edward Island for us has been the fact that we know people here. We got to Prince Edward Island and immediately had community. So as we traveled the weeks before, we didn't. We met new people, which was really exciting and really fun, but we did not know anybody. So that made a really big difference getting here, and it just felt like home right away. We had people to visit with and talk with, people we already knew, and people we trusted. We also noticed that the culture from Alberta, comparing it to Alberta where we lived, is very different. It's definitely a slower pace of life. They're not in too big a hurry, and that is really refreshing coming from where we've been. So they also spend a lot of time with their family, and family takes a really big priority. So they have a slower paced life. They also spend a lot of time together, and this includes things like kitchen parties and just getting together, to be together. It's very communal, and it's a very inclusive group. I don't believe that this is just the group of people that we happened to stay with and who are our friends. Anybody I've talked to, and I have taken the opportunity to ask people, this is a very typical maritime thing. So even in New Brunswick, we found community very easy and the people very friendly. And so getting to Prince Edward Island, it was very similar. We were just welcomed more into our friends' family. So we discovered that. There is a ton of swearing here, and I've also come to realize that this is more of an island thing. There are groups of people, of course, that don't, but for the most part, swearing is just a part of their vocabulary. The kids don't swear. They definitely, everybody knows their audience and knows when it's right, when it's not, but just being around people that you trust and family, people that you love, they definitely use it very liberally. And we thought that that was really interesting when we first got here. Definitely don't take offense to it, and it doesn't bother us at all. Our girls, my 9-year-old, the first night we were putting her to bed, I said to her, because she was just kind of all smiles, and I said, "They swear a lot here, don't they?" And she just goes, "Yeah." Like it was just something cool. But that's what we've noticed. Just between all of them, they swear, and there's really no more meaning behind it, but just that they're relaxed and they're easy. My husband Kevin had read an article saying that people who swore were actually perceived as being more trustworthy. So I can see that. I can see that if somebody swears, maybe not, so liberally that it doesn't seem they know anything else in their vocabulary, But if they do throw in the odd swear word, it does kind of let your guard down, and it makes them feel a lot more authentic and a lot more trustworthy. And that's definitely what we found here, that people are just really neighborly and really friendly. That's actually a really good word. Neighborly is what we have noticed. Knowing that we have been with a community makes a difference, and we have definitely talked about the idea of moving here and what that might look like for us. We're curious what all the seasons here look like as we've been here. The weather has been really great. Currently, there is a crazy windstorm, so Kevin went outside to make sure everything was safe, and we have had mostly good weather, so it's been really wonderful. Today it was like 24 degrees, so it was beautiful to go walking through the trees and down by the ocean. We have done a lot of beachcombing while we've been here. We haven't done too much that would be costly or expensive. We have just enjoyed the scenery, and we've done a lot of walking, and we've been in the sands and looking for sea glass and sand dollars. We have found some sea glass. We have not found any sand dollars. It has been really fascinating for us to see the tides and how the tides work. Being prairie people, we were not very familiar with this, so watching the tide and when it goes out and when it comes in has been neat to see, and then also that it changes day by day. So the tide isn't in at 12 noon every single day. It actually moves as we go. That's something it never occurred to me would happen, so it's been neat to see that. The girls have gotten a really great lesson in lobster anatomy and just what it looks like to beachcomb. I've seen how it is mothering in Alberta, and when you take the kids for a walk, a mom's pockets come home full of rocks. And on the coast, when you take the kids for a walk, a mom's pockets come home full of shells, because of course each one is unique and beautiful and has to be kept. But the beachcombing has been absolutely wonderful. The one thing I've noticed about Prince Edward Island is that there is always a breeze on the coast. There is never no breeze. It's always breezy. Not that it is always cold. It has been warm breezes too, but there is always something coming in off of the ocean. We did go to Green Gables. If you follow me on Instagram at McLeod's on the Move, then you will see that we had some really great pictures of our redheaded daughters at Green Gables. It was a really funny place to take redheaded girls because, of course, we had to have their hair in braids before we went. We did read the books with them earlier this year, and we watched the TV series, so they were all up to date on their Anne of Green Gables stuff. And we went there, and it was really reasonable. I think it cost us like $12 or $13 to get in for the four of us. The girls were free, and we were only like $6 each, so that was a fantastic price. We spent a lot of time there. There was a fantastic small museum information about Lucy Maud Montgomery and her life, so we spent a lot of time going through that. I spent a lot of time going through that, and then going outside, we could go into the barn and dress up in the time period clothes, and we could get our pictures taken and then go into the yard and tour the Green Gables house and learn the history about it, because of course Anne of Green Gables is a fictional character, somebody that Lucy Maud Montgomery made up, but she was completely inspired by this actual house and location that was owned by her family, her aunt and uncle, where she spent a lot of her time. So it was just beautiful. We walked through the haunted wood, but if you know that Hurricane Dorian went through, there was a lot of devastation in Cavendish, and so Lover's Lane was unfortunately closed. We couldn't go down there, but for the most part they've recovered well, and it is just really beautiful. So we spent a good part of our day there, and we enjoyed raspberry cordial, which you can buy on site. So it was all a win-win, but as I had alluded to, we have two redheaded girls, so it was an extra fun place to take two redheaded girls who were very Anne-like, and anybody who was 50 plus definitely made the observation, so it was kind of fun. We also toured Surrey, so just so you get an idea, we are on the very north shore of Prince Edward Island, and we are kind of right in the middle. So everything is about 20 minutes away when you're in Prince Edward Island, but we are north and almost central in a little place called Stanhope. You can look it up on Google and you'll see it very easily. That's where we have been staying, in a driveway of our friend's house. and Cavendish is about 15 minutes away. Everything's about 15 minutes away, which is really lovely. But we also went to the very east side of the island to a place called Surrey, and there are, I think, 7 or 8 lighthouses on Prince Edward Island that you can actually still climb up. So Surrey has one of those. We went to Surrey and did some beachcombing, and then we found the lighthouse, and we were able to climb up it and get a really great view of the ocean and to see the ferry come in. We had a picnic lunch, and it was just really sweet and beautiful. So I definitely would encourage you, if you plan to come to Prince Edward Island, go to one of the lighthouses that you can climb up. They have a lot of lighthouses, tons of lighthouses. I think even 60 or some crazy number, but there's only a handful that you can actually climb up. So that's neat, and then to read the history of them. And the last lighthouse keeper was, I think, at this one, 1991. And just the generations of people that actually ran the lighthouses and lived there, and for everybody's safety. So even the history is what gets me. I really love the history aspect of the Maritimes. This is where so many people arrived to North America and settled this area and settled Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and it's just really neat. So we went for a walk today in the provincial park, and there is a cemetery back there, and they have signs up asking you to respect it, and that where you walk is where someone else lies, and just to be careful. But it had people buried there as far back as 1811, and we did see the tombstone that read that, of a woman named Elizabeth. And there were other stones you could read. I think a woman, it was in the 1850s, she'd passed away, or 1839, 1850, something like that. And she was 79 years old, so she lived a really wonderful life, long life. I wouldn't say wonderful, it was probably quite hard, but definitely lived a long life. So really humbling, really neat for the girls and us to see. And then we took a walk further into the trees and came to a bubbling springs, which was really neat. And just really great, easy things to see in Prince Edward Island. So I think if you come in the summertime, it's September when we're visiting, and a lot of things have slowed down or closed down. Like the Cavendish Boardwalk is mostly closed down, but I don't mind that one bit. It's really quiet and easy to get around, and Charlottetown is a beautiful little city. So we've really had a good time on Prince Edward Island, and just doing our thing. We came for our friend's wedding, and it was really fun, and we got to meet a lot of people that way. And we've also started into our homeschooling curriculum, which has been going good. We participate in something called Classical Conversations. We're kind of on hiatus right now because from our community, because we are traveling around like this, but we are still keeping up with the curriculum of Classical Conversations. I encourage you, if you're a homeschooler, to take a look at that and see if there's one in your area to get a feel for. And we're just getting into the groove. We're getting our routine and our reading and our language arts and our math and everything started, and I think it's gone really well. The girls are quite agreeable, but again, like I've said, this is our 4th year, so it's all they know. We have never had them in school per se. We've just had them in homeschool, and yeah, it's been going really good. So that's Prince Edward Island. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to try and answer them. And yeah, we're just hanging in there. We're doing really well. And on Tuesday, so in 2 days from now, we are going to be heading to Nova Scotia and touring around Nova Scotia. We're going to spend some time around the Halifax area, and then we are going to go to the Cape Breton area, and hopefully, and just explore around there and see what we can find. So yeah, if you have any questions, comment below, post them below, give a like to this YouTube video. This is my very first one, and I'm pretty excited to share our adventures with you and our adventures around North America. And if you're looking for us on social media, I am Jeanette McLeod on Facebook, and I am McLeod's on the Move. We are McLeod's on the Move on Instagram. So thanks for joining, and can't wait to see you on our next video.